I told you I'm here for y'all. But today we're going to hear from this hot radio personality, Talia, with her take on do modern women still want marriage?
Yes.
Hey, Talia, how you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Hi, Arthur Myers Jr. Thank you for having more organized.
Still feel marriage is important to modern women today?
If I don't feel it's important. No, I don't. Do I want marriage? Maybe.
Then maybe, huh?
It depends, you know. Um I'm at a point of my life where, well, I was a different type of woman. I never wanted marriage when I was younger.
Oh, okay,
I
okay.
wasn't the picket fence and husband and all of that. I was more career orientated. I dreamed to be very wealthy by the time I was this age, and life made things different. So I wasn't really marriage wasn't my focus. It wasn't my all and everything. It became a focus in my mid 30s because of everybody else's expectations of my lifestyle and my life. You can hear me?
Yeah, I hear you loud and clear, loud and clear.
Yeah.
I'm with you. When
Yeah.
you
So
say everybody else, you talking about your friends, you talking about family?
everybody, friends, family, parents, associates,
Yeah.
they put the pressure on you. Why aren't you married? You're beautiful.
Hmm.
You got a lot going on. What's the problem? and,
Yeah,
and, and
yeah.
it's always the woman's fault in that situation. Like, why nobody want to marry you? But
Right.
truth be told, I wasn't with anybody. I haven't met anybody till this day that I felt was the love of my life. You know, of
Okay.
course, my
Okay.
child's father was that for me, but I was a kid. I was
Yeah.
a teen,
Right.
and I didn't know what that really meant and consist of. And one thing about us women, once we have a child, our views of a man totally change. It quickly
Hmm.
matures you,
Mm.
into understanding that, maybe that fly guy, that is the pretty boy that you like having on your shoulder as a trophy because all the girls is looking at him, ain't so fly when the baby's crying and you need diapers and pampers and he's still running the streets. So it becomes less sexy, you know, and it starts to turn you off, you know, and you're like, is this what it's really about? Like,
Mm.
so the things you would accept that was cute. Oh, he's so cute. Oh, I'm gonna go to the basketball court, put on my short skirt and watch him play ball. It's very different when you have a child, your child becomes the priority. And then you watch the man's responsibility level, you know, and it just changes things, so that
Yeah.
was a big thing for me in
Mm.
my life, and I've
So
quickly, sorry.
no, 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 by all means.
Yeah.
So I want to get it. I want to be clear. So
Hmm.
once you had your child, your focus really changed on what you required from a man.
Yes.
And as you say, it wasn't all about, like you say, the pretty boy image or what kind of new clothes
School,
he have on,
what car he's driving.
what car he's driving, all the materialistic stuff that we always tend to look for, right?
Hmm.
So
Yep.
at that point, I guess you wanted somebody a little more grounded, a little more stable, somebody
Yes.
there for the long term.
Yes.
Okay, and it's interesting because you said that you started out career minded anyway.
Right.
So as you know, 'cause a lot of times I speak with women and they tell me they dream to be married for a little girl.
Hmm.
So you told me the kind of the opposite. You said
Yes.
no, I wanted a career, and I've met women like that. Yes, I wanted a career. I had in mind to have, my assets in order, my business in order, my affairs in order,
Yes.
right? And then through the peer pressure, I guess I wouldn't say peer pressure, but you also said it was fat. You said it was everybody
Hmm.
because, and I do know about that. I have sisters, I have a whole bunch of family, so I do know that once a woman starts to get near a certain age, everybody asks that question.
Right.
What's up? When you next? When you
Hmm.
gonna walk down the aisle?
Yes. Always the bridesmaid, never a bride. I got all of
Mhm.
those jokes.
Right, right, right. Now, you said, now, is it something you would be willing to do if you met that guy?
Oh, definitely. And I would have been willing to do it even back then, but it just wasn't my focus. It wasn't my all and everything, you
Right,
know. And
right.
it could have came from my background. You know, I've seen my mom struggle with different relationships, you know.
Okay,
So
okay.
that played a part of, you know, it not being an importance in my life. I didn't
Right.
like the struggle in life, living from house to house and, you know, struggle to struggle.
Mm.
So that's why my priority was to set my foundation with or without a man, you know.
And then and you say that, and that's what I've heard that women say, listen, I don't, they've seen their mother or sometimes their grandmother go through those bad relationships and things like that. Sometimes with their father, their own father, and they say, no, I don't want to repeat that cycle. No, so I'm going to go out here and get the bag, so to speak. I'm gonna go out here and focus on my career, and
Mhm.
that's where all this is coming from because that's what's
Yeah.
going on now.
Hmm.
Okay, all right. So see, with me, it was little the opposite. I grew up with my mother and father; they were married in my house, so I kind of saw that early. That okay, as a man, you're supposed to be there in the house, working and stuff, but providing
Right.
and being there for the kids. Don't get it wrong. I saw no relationship is perfect. So
Right.
I saw things that made me say, "Wow, that's I don't know if I'm in a rush to do that either."
Right.
But as we get older, we understand that come with relationships.
Yeah, and that was the thing too. The relationships that I did see in my family, which was my grandparents, both of my grandparents, both sides were
Right.
together, you know,
Okay. Okay.
and a so-called successful situation because they were married for years. My grandmother and
Right.
my grandfather on
Right.
both sides, but
Gotcha.
it was no happiness in either side, you know. So I didn't want that. Like my
Mm.
my mom's side, my grandmother never got along with my grandfather to the point they slept in separate rooms. And my grandmother would call us to go tell my grandfather something. Go tell your grandfather, blah 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 blah.
Tell Granddad it's time to eat. Go get your
Yeah, and
grandfather. It's time
she's
to
and
eat.
she's
Yeah.
literally in the room right next door to him, but they're not talking, you know.
Right. No,
And
like
then
no communication.
yeah, they're not talking, but they have 11 children. I'm like, well, is that the only time y'all got along? Like, you know, and
Right. Somebody's talking
they
some kind
found
of way.
they found time to
I,
get
I think
along.
what happened back then, and this ties right into what we're talking about. I think what happened back then was there was more. See, for women now, we're talking about for women. There was more of a necessity to have a husband,
Yeah,
that provider type. So even if we didn't communicate, on a romantic level or just vibing, like, you would want somebody to vibe, communicate, vibe with in a relationship. It was that necessity for us to be together. Our people of color, right?
right.
We had more of that. We have to be together to make it work.
Got this mortgage.
Right. Pay this mortgage, as you say.
Hmm.
Okay. All right. So you already said you would still be willing to do it. Now part of what I do with life coaching. I speak to women all the time and men too. Believe it or not, there's a misconception that men don't want to be married,
Right.
and that's a misconception. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to tell you the numbers are as high as the women that I come across, but there are a few guys too. They looking to be stable too, so to
Hmm.
speak. They've
Hmm.
told me they're tired of running around. They're tired of playing games too. And but back to the modern woman, so to speak. When I deal with people like such as yourself, and they tell me they did their career, my perspective is I'm behind that 100%, 100,000%, because I speak about toxic relationships and being in dead end relationships. So the fact that you're getting your career together, the fact that you're in a thriving career, I'm behind that. What I say is that don't wait too long to find somebody that you're compatible with and you can continue grow your whole life with.
Well,
That's like my perspective on that.
I personally feel like I passed my mark for me. Let me tell you why. Let me explain.
I'm
I,
listening.
I say that because, right, the reality of available men that are like my criteria of what I would want, they're mostly already married, or they're gay, or they're locked up. This is the reality with the minority woman. And don't find myself attractive to other races, and they don't seem to be attracted to me, you know.
Okay.
So anytime I do meet a companion that I semi would see myself wanting to be in a relationship with, they're married. You know, that's been the consistency from the time I started saying, okay, let me start trying to settle down with someone.
Right.
And
Right.
what I've done in turn was dated men that were not on my level, they were underneath me. And I had
Mm.
to bring them up, you know. I tried that a few times and it didn't work, because it was draining. I have to There were great guys as far as personality, um and had good qualities. And
Mm.
it felt great not having to shovel the snow sometimes and having to have take out the garbage and do manly things,
Right. Right.
like, again, we had a conversation before and you mentioned femininity, right?
Yes.
And the thing about it is I never get the opportunity to be feminine, meaning this, I'm a full woman, yes, but I would love to let my hair down and flow, but I'm always on edge, everything, all the time, you
Mm.
know. And when again I got that companion that I said, you know what, let me stop doing the checklist thing. They have to be this, they have to have this
Yeah.
income,
A
they have to
checklist.
have
Yeah.
this, they have to. When I stopped doing that and I let my guards down, I got almost 90% of the time the men were not on my level, education wise,
Mm.
financially wise,
Right. Right.
financial, spiritually sometimes,
Yes.
um but then we clash because, okay, two things happened in two instances. One thing was when the brother did get to a certain level, he started thinking he was all that, you know
Mm. Mm.
so I took my time and energy to help mold, him into being a person like, oh wow, we could do this together. He could grow, he could help me in these areas, I could help him in this area. But I find myself helping. And then it got to a level where now you're not doing the man things that you should be doing because you're dependent on me too much because you got used to that because that's how we started this relationship,
Right. Right.
you know?
Now. 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 See, in saying that, now I was saying that I speak about now. I speak about those things right on different on my platform. I promote. So here we go. I promote women dating with intention, being intentional when they're dating. I promote women seeking out their own level, and you said it yourself. I pretty much I don't promote you women going and trying to build up a man. Now hear me clear. Hear me,
Never do
let
that.
me say your hands.
Never do it.
Right, right. Every reason you say, a lot of times you build somebody up and then they start to feel they better, they too good for you. And you say, wait a minute. When I met you, you was depressed. Now you abusing me, you know? And I've done that. I've done that. Total transparency. I've had a young lady one time who, she wasn't exposed to going out. She wasn't exposed. She basically almost like a turtle in a shell. And I'm an outgoing person. I was in at the time knew a lot of people, going to industry parties, you name it. So I'm introducing her to this type of lifestyle. And then towards the end, it became like it took her whole life of its own, and she's doing her own thing. And I'm like, wait a minute, hold up, what monster did I create? You know,
Woo.
now you telling me that you beyond I'm not good enough for what you're talking about anymore. So no, I'm glad you mentioned that because I always tell women go into it knowing your worth, knowing you have a lot to offer. Now, see, there's a difference in, you know, two people coming together and trying to build themselves up from I'm trying to rescue and save you. A lot
Yes.
of people have that savior mentality. I'm
Mm,
going to save him. I'm going to save her. And as we see time and time again, it doesn't work. Okay,
no.
it doesn't work. So I don't promote that. Um,
Let me tell you
Also,
this.
go ahead.
Hold that thought.
Go ahead.
The other brother straight up told me this, and I was so taken back because I couldn't believe he was bold enough to say these words out of his mouth.
Oh, I gotta hear this.
Okay, he became what you call that? A womanizer. He
Oh,
became a man that was dating every woman that came across our path, no
wow.
respect. And I couldn't believe it because we were friends first for years. He was
Mm-hmm.
my best friend.
Wow.
And when I started dating him and again bringing him to a different level, you know,
Mm-hmm.
making his bank account 3 times bigger because that's what I do, for a living,
Oh, you got that power? Oh, I get
Yes,
see,
yes,
I'm in
I
the
do.
right place.
And one day we were coming from a gala event and I said, "Why do you keep doing this?
Mm,
What is the real issue? If that's what you want to do, let's separate because we were friends first and we'll be greatest friends." And you know what he told me? He said, "I never in a million years thought you would ever date me. And if I could get you, you prove to me I could get any woman on this earth that I want."
mm. Wow, 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 wow.
Mm.
Mm.
And
That see,
that's
I wish I
the
had that. I wish I had that bomb from Master Flex. You know that bomb he does. That bomb. That was a bomb right there. You know that bomb shit right there. Wow. Talk about an eye opener, huh? Did that open your eyes or what?
It's still open in my eyes today, and this was like over 15 years ago. I'm
Wow.
still mortified by the whole. It just made me quickly say,
You,
I got to get out of this."
oh yeah, oh yeah. You didn't realize, but see, you didn't at the time. But when he told you, straight up. A lot of times people don't tell you straight like
That's
that.
how bold he was. He thought I wasn't
Yeah,
going
yeah,
nowhere. He was
yeah.
like, "You ain't gonna leave me either." That's what the
Right. I
man
got it
told me.
like that. Yeah, I got it like that. Got it like that. He's feeling himself on a high level. You
Mm,
know, and this is what I constantly talk about. I want women to understand. I want women to understand. That's why we did this platform. That a lot of times it's just not. It wasn't. It wasn't you. It was he wasn't in your season. You understand? A lot of times he's not ready. Just like the
mm,
example you told me, a guy like that. And once again, it's not to knock that guy, but it's just situations. They're not ready. They're not
mhm,
ready to be in a committed relationship or to take really really understand the kind of woman they have. I
mhm,
was younger too, and I had a couple good ones go by, and you look back and say, wow, too emotionally immature,
mhm,
sometimes mentally immature,
mhm,
and you just don't know how to handle that situation. You don't know how to say, "Oh, I got something good right here. I need to hold this." You just start, like you said, feeling yourself because now you think. See, a lot of times men get it confused, especially younger men coming up. They think quantity beats quality.
mhm.
But as you go along, you realize no, 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 no. Quantity is just that numbers. That's a numbers game. But
Right.
quality, somebody like you said can help you with your finances. Somebody can help you with your image. Somebody can bring peace to your life, stability to your life. See, those are things that's why I say at this point I want women to start recognizing that's the guy I want you to get.
Mhm,
So don't I don't want you to lose hope is that we're hope, right? Like you're losing hope, but I don't want you to lose hope or be discouraged because you met some guys at the wrong season in your life.
mhm,
There's still guys out here that when you talk to them, this is why I'm big on we got to communicate because then you'll see where's he, where is he at, and
mhm.
once you realize that, you got to quickly dismiss him. Oh no, no, he's not there.
Oh
We
yeah.
get caught we get caught up because, like you say, he might look good. They may have this going for them. Yeah, yeah. On the outside, sure, they got these things, but is he going to be emotionally available for you? Is he somebody that's going to be
Mhm,
stable for you? So I want you to action guys talk to the men, talk to them with intention. Talk
mhm,
to them about being married.
Mm-hmm.
And don't be afraid about bringing that topic up, marriage, on the onset. A lot of us have had a lot of women have had that old misinformation. You know, don't bring it up. You're going to scare them away. Don't talk about that. Have you heard that? Have you heard that before?
No.
Like, don't bring
Mhm.
up marriage. You'll scare them away.
No. I heard it. Yeah, I did, but not
Okay.
amongst my community. But I've heard it. Yes,
Okay.
I've heard it.
Right. Because I come across women and they tell me, oh, I don't want to come off meeting him talking about marriage.
Right.
But what I say to them is, it's not that you are walking around with marriage on your forehead,
Hmm.
but you want to be clear. You want the man to be clear because I made the video. Real men stand and deliver for what they want.
Right.
They do. They do.
I haven't met them.
Kids, yeah.
I haven't. I have no problem talking to guys at
No,
all.
no,
I'm very comfortable.
no,
You know,
no.
it's just I
Well, at
haven't
least, well,
met them.
yeah,
You know, and if I
right,
have,
right.
they've been married. You know,
Yeah, yeah, right, right,
I'll be like, all the good ones
right.
gone. So what? Like,
Oh
I don't
man.
know.
No, they still around. Believe me, they still around. That's it. See, what happens is we fighting a lot of information with social media. So you get this information over here. All women want guys look like that. That's the list you're talking about, right?
Mhm.
All women, all they want to be is a boss chick and get their own. And they don't want to submit to any man.
Mhm.
But you said yourself, you're submissive. You can be submissive with the right man. With the
Right.
right man.
Right.
So,
Because
you
I'm not
know,
being submissive and you can't hold that ball and not drop it,
right.
that becomes an issue for me. I'll give you the opportunity, but if you let that ball drop, I'm just like, okay, this is not it, you know. Because I like for me, I feel the man that would have me to want to be married to him is gonna know what I need before I ask. Is gonna know how to be a man. And walk
Yes.
in my home
Yeah.
and say, you know what, something's not right in here. Like things like that. I just want a man to be a man. Like the checklist is all the way swithered down.
Right.
I narrowed down. I just
Yeah.
want someone that is a great person. You know
Right.
that is beautiful on the inside and out. It's not even about looks for me anymore because how a person treat me can make them look so different to me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Still not settle for just a regular everyday thing. I still like spontaneousness, but with
Yeah. Yeah.
responsibility,
Right. Right.
and just someone that's about their business, secure in who they are as a man, and
Mm-hmm.
and is a man,
Yeah.
I meet
Yeah.
these guys
Yeah.
and they act more feminine than women, and it's
Yeah.
it's a problem
Yeah.
for me, you know.
Yeah. Yes, it's real. It's real. That's why I created the platform because I said, wait a minute. There has to be some balance here.
Yeah,
It's too. I've watched on like everybody else social media. And I saw too many men. And I'm not going to name any show. I'm not going to name anybody in particular. But I've seen too many platforms, too many men complaining about women, crying about women, bashing women. And I said, hold up, time out, time out, time out, time out. As a man, you have to know that there's certain things that women require, certain things that come with dealing with a woman. My father told me a long time ago. He said when I was young, he said, I might have been in that phase of trying to complain about a woman. Don't be in the game. Don't hate the player, hate the game, or something to that. But basically, if you want to deal with a woman, you got to accept what comes with it. Now that doesn't mean you like everything.
right,
That's not what I'm saying. But so you want a woman who has her own career, right? Like you, well traveled, well versed, beautiful woman, has got a lot of things going for herself, and you want to come in the door and think she's supposed to accept less. You're
right,
supposed to take from her situation. She's not supposed to say anything about that. She's not supposed to have any expectations of you. She's not supposed to have any demands of you.
right.
That's not
Not
even
working.
realistic.
Yeah,
When no, and the more you start to date quality women, women who are really doing those things we're talking about, career women, some say modern women. That's a new term for it. That's fine. You have to understand that comes with that. And what I mean is, okay, just like you're in the industry, right? We're in the industry now. We're all in this
Yes.
industry, or social media, and meeting people. So now here I am. If I'm a guy and I'm dealing with you, I have to understand you're going to have access and deal with other men. So for me to come in all insecure, where you going, who you texting, why you got to do a show with this guy, why you
Oh,
have to do a party with that guy, how come you're taking a meeting over here, and is this really a meeting? That's not going to work
no.
because he's already not. He's not. He already showed you he's not mature enough to understand what you got going on,
Right. And
and
he can have
that's
his own thing going on where you're not all worried about all that I'm doing because you got yourself going on too, you know.
hey, there you go. Right there you go. There you go. All right. So is there? So you said you haven't met them yet. You said you haven't met them yet, right? I try to convince you they out there. You said no, I haven't met them yet, and that's fine. That's what this does. That's why
Mhm.
I want to have another voice, another platform to combat a lot of the stuff that's out there. Because you see too many suckers, and you're like, oh man, the world's full of suckers. But you know,
That part.
that part, yeah, say that. You know? That's just like twerking, right? You go
Right.
on there and you say, "Oh, they're all women are twerking. They're all half naked. They twerking."
Right.
But yet here we are. Here you are, not
Right.
doing any of that with
No.
a major platform, doing major things. Building for yourself as well as your community,
Right.
right? In real life and in real time.
Yes.
So when I say to man, no, they women out there still doing their thing and they look good and they not all like that. And they say, where they at? Oh, I'm talking to one right now, brother.
Right.
You need to get over here. You're on the wrong channel.
Yes.
You're on the wrong
We
channel.
need a channel that merges that world, you know,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I meet a lot of pretenders. I a couple of years ago went on dating sites and
Okay.
was too afraid to go on the actual date. I
Oh,
canceled like 3 times. I
oh wow.
I chickened out.
Flaked on a date.
Yes, I
Flaked on
did. I really did. I was like, this is crazy. Meeting somebody online, you don't even know if the person is really who they say they are. Like
yeah,
they could be serial killer. I'm not going. So I just,
yeah.
I just
Catfish. You mean
yes,
catfish? Yeah.
yeah, I stopped. I
Oh
stopped.
man.
I stopped doing that because I want to meet somebody in real life. Like I
Right.
just want to meet you and say, okay, we vibing. Let's take it to the next level. Let's talk. I don't want to do that over a computer. I
Right.
still believe in that. Hand to hand. You know, kind of meet and greet.
Yeah, we listen. We two are the same. We from that. We definitely from that mindset because and it's funny you say it because I was talking about that earlier. There are people like us who still need that communication because a lot gets lost in translation with the text.
Yes, that
Okay,
too.
that's what a lot of how they mean that. Why they say that? Do they mean it like this? So you're reading it, misreading into things.
Mhm.
Listen, I put it like this. I'm from the day, and I don't like to say back in the day so much, but
Right,
I came up when you had to physically approach the woman, approach that
right.
female, and you had to rap. And whether you're telling a joke, you break dance, you do the back flip, whatever you had to do to try to
Yeah.
attract that female, you had to do that. You
Mhm,
had to do that. You
mhm.
couldn't go through no site, no app. You couldn't go through you had to do that to
Right.
get her to like you. Or,
Right.
just to be in your company, all of that stuff like that.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
that's not a lost art on me. That's not a lost art on me. And what you're saying is you still like that communication too.
Yeah, I
So
definitely. I've even had situations with like I've always had a lot of male friends. Always. I grew up with tons of male friends, more than females. And when I got older, some of them had said to me, like, they were too afraid to approach me.
mm,
you know,
hmm
later on in life. They're
yeah,
married and everything now. And I'm like, are you serious?
yeah. Right,
You
here we
like
go.
me? Like you
Here we
really
go.
like me
Yeah.
like that? Like I didn't even know. And they were
That's the
like,
worst. That's the worst. That's
yeah.
the worst.
And I got that a lot because I was always independent. I was always strong.
Right.
I was always doing things. I. Was always a go-getter.
Right.
So a lot of the guys that I would have given a chance, always told me they was afraid of me. They were afraid to
Mm,
approach me. They thought
mm,
I would turn them down, you know.
mm.
So, I guess us ladies got to look out for that too. And, that was one of my things. I was so focused on doing what I was doing. I wasn't catching the signals. You
Right.
know,
Right.
I even remember being out sometimes with friends and they're like, Talia, oh my God, he's so cute. He's looking at you. And I'm like, girl, where's my check? Like
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not
yeah.
even, so like you said, you have to have balance.
You was trying to get to the bag. Yeah, listen,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here for we're promoting something over here, and I'm here for that. This is the event.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm not over
yeah.
there, and they're drooling over the gentleman, and oh my God, he was so cute, and I'm like,
Right.
he was looking at you, girl. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
he wasn't. He was looking
Isn't
at how
that
much you gotta pay me.
isn't that the worst? Isn't that the worst when someone not available and they tell you something like that? Back then I was feeling you. At that party I wanted to take you home, or
Yes.
I used to have a crush on you, and I always wanted to
Right.
say something, but because me and your sister are cool, or I always
Right.
thought you was into my friend. And that's the worst. You like,
That is the worst. So people out there that's listening, don't miss your opportunity. Take the chance because you never know. You
th-
never know.
there you go. See, now you put your life coach hat on now.
Yeah.
See, and that's a segue. That's a good point you made about taking your opportunity now. Now once again, I'm not telling anyone to jump out there and just jump out there. People say that all the time. Oh, leap of faith, just jump out there.
Hmm.
No, we measure what we do. We research what we do.
Hmm.
But you made a great point. Listen, this is no rehearsal. Life is no rehearsal. If you have an idea you want something, the time is now to work towards that. So if
Right.
you see somebody who is available, they're available, start to make your presence known. Don't miss that opportunity. And then that leads to regrets. That leads to the whole that big question. What if? What if? Okay? So I'm glad you said that. All things that we talk about. A
Yeah.
lot of people are doing just that. They're on the sidelines. Part of life coaching, I try to get you off the sideline with your own life. No, no. When I say sidelines, no, they're eating, they're sleeping, they're doing, they're going to work, they're doing their thing. But when it comes to doing like really reaching out for stuff they really want, they're on the sidelines,
Yeah.
waiting for a sign or someone to tell them, go ahead and get that. So that once again, I promote you getting off the sidelines and taking more control of your life.
Yeah.
You know,
And
go
you
ahead.
know what else I've done that I would do differently today? I've dated brothers that went after me. And I know you all say the man is supposed to go after the woman. But there's been some guys that I really liked, like, I would like him. And I never approached them. And I never, because I'm waiting for them to come after me.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
I'm not doing that in this day and age. If I see someone I like, I'm going to go for it, and
Okay.
take it from there.
So, all right. So, okay. So, based on what you just said, now, what do you think? What do you think about women? They have different shows on now. Women who are proposing to men. What do you think about that?
I'm not doing that. I'm sorry.
I,
I don't
I,
think
I already knew. I already knew the answer. I looked. I said, she's not doing that.
I'm not doing that.
No.
I'll approach, to see if, there's some feedback, some chemistry, but I'm not chasing a guy. I'm
Yeah.
gonna let
Yeah.
them know the interest is there,
Right.
that I will do, you
So
know.
you feel so you still believe that in the traditional sense that a man still has to be the one to propose to the woman.
Yes.
Okay.
It
All
just
right. And this
certain
right.
things like breathing just feels right.
So this is why I wanted to have you on because you know you hear about modern women this, modern women that. They're not getting married. They don't care about getting married. They're so modern. They just rebuke all tradition. But here we are with a modern woman, her own business, doing everything for herself in a major way, saying that she still wants a man to propose to her.
Yes.
So all traditions not lost.
No.
There you go. There you go. So see, fellas out there, you do your part. Do your part. Let me say this, fellas. These are some things that we are charged with. We are charged with. I don't care how much you see things change and this is acceptable and this is doable now. There's some things you just heard it yourself, right? The lovely lady just told you, as a man, she still wants us to do our part. All right.
Yes.
So, so is there? So now you already said you're not actively looking for that, right? You're not actively looking for
I'm not
marriage,
actively looking
right?
for it. No. Reason being because I don't see it there. Like is I don't I tried. It's not I'm not saying that if it happened and I met someone, I wouldn't want to be married. I'm not saying that, oh no, marriage not for me. Even though maybe 5 years ago, I probably would have been saying that because I still didn't believe I was ready for a marriage, maybe a relationship, but not a
Mm,
marriage. Why I say that is because I understand that marriage is a give and take, and it
yes,
can't be all about me and my
right,
dreams and what I'm doing. I will
right.
have to really learn how to coexist with another human beings,
Mm,
and what
mm,
they want and what their needs are,
mm,
and then you got to bend too. And I wasn't at a point in my
mm,
life where I was ready and willing to do that, you know
mm.
but
That's the and see now you're ready,
right.
because this is why I said to you earlier, it wasn't your season with
Yeah.
those prior relationships. A
Hmm.
lot of times, just like myself, right? We go through different seasons, and people say, "Oh, I remember him. I know that guy. He was," because that was the season,
Right.
and you're not ready. You said it yourself. Now you're ready to coexist with somebody. See, a
Right.
lot of people, they want the idea of a marriage. I'm gonna speak about marriage for a second. They want the idea of a marriage because they want the wedding. They see the wedding and it's attractive to everybody, right? Wow, big wedding, big party. Everybody, it's beautiful and married to say the title. But the thing is, you have to really like develop, how can I coexist with another person all the time? And when you here we go, this life coaching. What I tell folks is start to work on yourself,
Hmm.
because if you get in a marriage, the selfish ways you had before, they're not going to play out for you.
Right.
Before you were single, and well, this is what I do. This is me. Because I used to talk like that too. Well, listen, and any girl get with me, she know this is me. I know a lot of women. This is what I do. This is just me.
Don't
I'm a
ask me no
sociable guy.
questions. Right.
You know, you're
Right.
not gonna keep you ain't gonna keep your marriage popping, stimulated. It's not gonna be successful if you still have a
Have
lot of
that
that
mentality. Yep.
mentality.
Hmm.
So before you think about marriage, start to work on that part of yourself. You
Yeah.
understand?
And let me tell you another thing. I did everything later in life. I was a late bloomer, you know, meaning that, like, I got in a serious relationship later in life because like I told you, I've been focused,
Yeah.
Um,
Focus, man.
yes, focus. I had my
Mhm.
daughter later in life. All of my friends were teenage pregnancies. I had her, I was fully graduated, career already. I was
Mm.
older,
Right, right.
Um, so me saying that, I feel that in God's time, I will be married and it'll be the perfect time, even though others are looking at it as, oh, you're going to get married in your 40s, when most people get married in their 20s and 30s, But I just feel like I had to be prepared for marriage. I wasn't a great cook. I became
Mm.
a great cook about 8 years ago. I couldn't cook for nothing because I never had the time to put into cooking.
Right.
And I didn't even want to cook. What? Cook? I don't do that. You better order something. Get out of here. That was my
Mm.
attitude.
Mm.
But it's like God prepared me, and naturally I started wanting to be able to cook. And then when people would taste my food and be like, "Oh, this is good," that motivated me more to want to know how to cook other dishes. So then I
Right.
became a great cook. And I was like, wow. And then I wasn't very nurturing for a guy, meaning that I wasn't the lovey-dovey type, you know.
Right. Right.
And I did turn some relationships off because the guy want to caress me and hold me, especially in public. Me in public? Oh no, what are you doing? You know, that was so, like you said, it was a season when I wasn't into none of that. Don't hold my hand, don't do none of that. I'll meet you in the back, you know.
Right. Right. But
So all of those things,
after party, you
right,
meet me over there. I'll see you
right,
later.
right.
Uh, that's that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Gotcha.
like you said, it's a level of maturity where you're ready for certain things and to take on certain things, you know.
You said something important. You said something that that stood out just there, and you mentioned cooking, right? Now here we go. You said that there was a time you didn't care about you didn't cook that much, but you had to learn, and now you got that. Now here we go talking about marriage now. Talking about marriage. That's a major thing in a relationship because as you know, once you start to really get situated, you may have your rent, mortgage, all these bills, all these things you've acquired now. You may not be eating out as much. You
Exactly.
might not be ordering food out as much.
Hmm.
So you do want to have, finances are important.
Hmm.
And even though you have this other person in a relationship, wait a minute. Well, every time I'm hungry. I don't want to order out, or I don't want to get dressed and go anywhere
Right,
every time.
right,
It's Tuesday. Where am I going? It's
right,
Thursday. Where are we going? So I like that you spoke on that because you have people who they don't understand that those things like you say cooking and not just from a woman's aspect
right,
because as a man I can cook. My
right.
mother taught me how to cook. As a teenager, she said, "Check
Mm.
this out." She said, "Son, you better learn." Because I was going to hang out one day, and she was cooking something, and she said, "Watch this real quick." I didn't want to. I said, "No, I'm going outside. I'm going outside. I'm 16. What am I watching you cook for?" She
Right.
said, "Listen, you might get a girlfriend who don't want to cook for you or can't cook for you." Now remember, I'm 16. I'm
Hmm.
feeling myself. I'm
Hmm.
what? Any girl I get, she gonna want to cook for
Cook.
me, or
Right.
she's gonna know how to cook for me because
Hmm.
that's her whole pleasure in life is cook for me. Until I got in the real world,
Right.
and I said, "Oh, sweat! They burning toast. They burning toast. Burning toast.
That was me.
Burning toast. Burning toast."
Yes.
So, and I got another funny story with that one too, but
Hmm.
interest of time, I'll leave that story. But you get it. They burning
Yes.
toast.
Yes.
So I said, "Oh no!" So now, sometimes I call my mother. I say, "Ma, thank you." Well, thank you for what? You showed me the way because they burning,
Yes.
they burning toast. But I say that to say those things are important in a relationship. Serious relationships and
Right.
marriage. See, when you're just dating, it doesn't. Sometimes it doesn't. Like you say, and I know those seasons. It don't really matter as much
Mhm.
because I see you here and there anyway.
Right.
So if I've seen you twice a week. We can order when you come over. When you come over, we can order food, or we can
Hmm.
go out and come back and hang out. Yeah,
Yeah.
but when you're there 24/7, you want somebody that can do their part cooking wise.
Exactly. And everything wise, to be honest with you, because I look at things so differently now. Like now I'm at the stage where I don't want nobody cooking for my man. You see?
Oh,
Like, I got that. I got
I got
you. You
So,
don't
so,
need
so,
to
he, so
do
he can't go to work. He can't go to your man can't go to work and have his favorite coworker bring that plate of food. Help, that
no.
Tupperware, hook him up.
I don't know. I don't want you cooking
No,
for
none
my
of
man.
that.
I got him. Thank you, boo.
Okay.
You
Yep.
know, and
Okay.
I want to take care of my man real good. Like I wasn't
Right.
into that before. It wasn't
Right.
important to me. But
Right.
now those things are important to me. And I want to do them. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah. Yeah.
difference. Where before it was like a burden, you know.
Yeah.
So I guess that comes with maturity too. It doesn't
Right.
really have nothing to do with loneliness because I'm not lonely, believe it or not. I'm not
No, no,
lonely.
I didn't get. We didn't get that impression. I didn't get
No,
that impression.
not at all. But I want to cater to my man, but
Right.
I want it to be the person that deserves my catering, if you
For
get
sure.
what I'm saying.
For
It's
sure. For
that much
sure.
more
For
pleasurable
sure.
doing when it's a two-way street. you know.
Right. Right.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
that,
Yeah. So you.
Mr. Myers, if it's
Yes.
out there, hey, we could do my Wednesday dating game. Hello.
Hey, listen. Listen. I'm here. I'm here
I'll
for it.
be a
I'm here for it.
contestant. I'll
I'm here for it.
volunteer.
Yeah. I'm here for it. Listen. I want him to show up. I want him to appear. You
Yes.
know, because they definitely out there. And I think as we continue to see, and that's why once again, I wanted this platform, wanted this space for modern career women to speak on. They still want marriage. They still want someone in their life.
Yeah.
You said it. You said it.
And not just
Because
anyone.
I was like, I was a little confused myself. I said, wait a minute. Are they saying modern women saying they don't need anybody in their life because they got their career and because they're
No,
doing good at their careers?
we're not saying that, but it's not like, for example, right?
Mm,
Most of my hardships I had to overcome on my own.
right,
Meaning I have to deal with a house on my own without a man. So when things get broken, when things, aren't working, I had to learn things that I feel that I shouldn't have had to learn. If
right.
I had a man, he would have been dealing with those things. I know
That's right.
everything about a car because I had to learn by being cheated so many times with men trying to take advantage because I didn't have
Right,
a guy there. So now I'm
right,
at the point where I feel like I don't need. I'm not saying I don't need a man. Like it's a catch-22 with what I'm saying.
hmm hmm
But I feel like when I needed y'all, I had to figure it out and do it on my own. So you think I'm gonna let somebody come in my world and aggravate me that you're not bringing peace as you spoke on to my
hmm
life just because you're a man and you got something down there that can pleasure me for a moment? No, it's not that simple. It's a lot more to it, especially with me, because I can do all that. I could get out there and shovel myself. I can take the garbage out. I'm not
right.
afraid. You know, don't want to do it. I really don't. I would love to have the companionship where, hey, you get it this week. I could
Yeah,
even
yeah,
do that, or how about
yeah.
you do all the garbage and I'll do all the laundry? How about we make that deal? But it
It's a
will
good deal.
feel beautiful to have that kind of transaction going on.
Right,
But because I've done it so long and not had it, it's okay if I don't. It's like maybe back then I would have been more open to deal with certain things that I'm just not going to tolerate today.
right, right.
And that's what I'm saying.
Gotcha.
And I believe every modern woman feels the same way, because most of the time, again, we get men that are either playing games, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
the men that I am the most compatible with are married. I don't know if because I don't know why, but
I
that's
well,
been the situation.
I well, you say most men you compatible with a married man. I will say this: what happens is, and I mean, I don't know if it's from all your situation,
Hmm.
but a lot of by the time a man gets married, right? Typically, he has come to a point where he's ready to be more responsible. He's ready to communicate. He's ready to listen to a woman. He's ready to not operate from the player mindset, the narcissist mindset, the mindset of I'm just trying to take something from her. I'm trying to get something. So when you say you have most of the guys you do, you have that bond with for married men. I think that's what it is. A lot of time when you get to that point, they're at that. That's how married men are.
Hmm.
So that's probably why you vibe with them better.
Right.
When you're talking to guys that are still wanting to be out there, still want to run around and play. Now here you are. You said it yourself. You said it yourself. You said from young you were focused. From young you were goal orientated. From young you were business minded and everything you've done in your life. So when you meet a guy and he's still talking about, yeah, I'm gonna see you Friday, but then I'm gonna be missing for 2, 3 days because I'm in the studio, and then I'm gonna come back on next Tuesday, and then I'm gonna be there two
Like
days, and then
everything's okay. No, we're not
yeah.
doing that. Mm-mm.
So at this
We
point in your
could
life,
do
you
that, but
definitely going separate.
you're not gonna be my man. We could
Right,
do that.
right,
But just understand
right.
that you're not my man. You're my
Yeah,
homie lover friend, if
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, there's a place for that too. There's a place for that too. We know, there's a place for that too. There's a place for that too.
Right.
So, is there anything that you want? Anything you want to say about this topic we're talking about? Any last thoughts in your mind?
Mm, my only last thoughts are that I feel that I and any woman that's in my predicament, we got to put ourselves out there more. And that's what I'm going to do for the next year to 2 to 3 years. Because truth be told, someone said something to me. How do you plan on meeting somebody if you don't do nothing? Everything you do is job orientated. You're always behind the desk or the computer. If you're at an event, you're at an event not for a date, you're at an event for business.
Right.
So you need to get out more and mingle, and that's how you're going to finally find somebody. You don't do it.
You beat you. You know what? You beat me to the punch. I was going to ask you that. Are you putting yourself out there? Are you putting
No, I
yourself
don't. I don't.
right?
Yeah.
Now, are you not putting yourself? Well, I know. Well, we already established. You got a busy career and everything like that. That's pretty prosperous. So that's a big thing, and that's a lot of modern women. They are doing their degrees, right? Getting their masters, their PhDs, entrepreneurship. They're achieving all these wonderful things, and they're not making time for a relationship. And then by
Yeah.
the time they figure they want to do it, they're that far removed.
Yeah.
This is what we're talking about. So, and then, but you just said it. So you alluded to that. And my question was, are you putting yourself out there? I will say this. I will say this. You know what? You have to put yourself out there. You have to, because that's the balance that you need, that we all need, right?
Mm,
Because if you're only if your main, I'm successful with this, but you have other needs,
right.
you have other wants, right? Now we know you can handle all the heavy lifting. You already said it. You said it throughout the show.
Right.
But then you have other needs and wants that should be fulfilled.
Right.
And I think a person who's already established, and you proved I can do business. You proved I can have a successful career. You've proven it. I can raise my child.
Mhm.
I've done it. So now it's time to fill in the other blanks. So
Yes.
I do
I agree.
say,
I
hey,
don't want to get there where my focus is to be and be by myself. That I don't want, you know.
wait,
But
wait, 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 wait. What do you mean by that?
meaning
You
that
said you don't be by yourself. Wait.
this is what I said. I don't want to get there like to the maximum of my career where I really want to be. And I
Right,
have all this success, all this money, and
right.
no real relationship because I decided to get the relationship once I got there. Now everybody's looking to either use me or, oh, she's this,
Yeah,
she's that. I don't want that. I want, to meet someone, and my ideal situation is we're growing together, but I don't know. you know.
I got. Well, I'm still listening. I'm telling you, keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. Put
Sorry.
your it's all right. Keep hope. Listen, when it's good, it's all right. It's all right. This is all real, all organic, authentic. That's what we're doing. Listen, continue to just start to put yourself out there. Slowly but surely, go to different events. As you deal with people, you have enough experience now where you can start to discern who's still playing games versus who look like they might be for real, right? We talk about that. So I say you're on the right. That's a good thing. Put yourself out there, and the fact that you still have hope that there's somebody out there for you like that, that's a good look. That's a good look. You know. It went out a minute. It went out a minute. Sound went out. Let me see. Mhm.
My dog is going crazy. I apologize. I'm try-
I got one too. I know how it is.
I'm trying to get him to stop barking. Hold on.
I believe me, I know. I got mine in the back. He got him in the back behaving with the door closed. You
Somebody
know.
was ringing a bell.
Oh, oh,
Yeah.
oh, oh. You
See,
talking about that part?
that's why you need a partner so they can get the bell while you're
Yeah. Hey, listen, go
recording and
get
the
that.
dog won't
Go get
bark.
that while I'm doing this. Right.
Yeah. But
Okay.
yeah,
All right. So listen. So all right. Good. 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 So so good. So what do we get from this? You still open to meeting somebody.
yes.
You're still open to the idea of marriage.
Yeah.
So that idea of just women want to be just career women at all costs, and they debunked that idea of being married. So we already refuted that idea. No, women
Right.
still want to be married. They just want somebody worthy to spend their time with, and
Right.
because they're not going to build themselves up and have anybody just owe anybody in their life, pretty
Yes.
much. Okay,
Not
and
when
you
you
said,
work so hard.
yeah, believe me, I know, believe me. Um, so listen, let these people know where they can reach you, where they can find you at. They can find you at.
Well, you can find me the easiest way is Talia on radio. The name is spelled on the screen Telia on radio radio on every platform Instagram, Twitter, Gmail, Talia on radio at Gmail. That's the best way to find me. Not hard.
That's right. That's right. And
And you could
okay,
catch
good.
our show, me and Arthur Myers, on Mondays, 2 p.m. to 5 on Famous Radio.
That's right. Famous radio, spilling the tea.
That's right, with Talia.
You know, I'm gonna let you know now. I'm gonna let you know now. We go. I already know that you know when the responses come, we're gonna have to do part two of this.
Yes,
We're gonna
probably.
have to do part. We gotta do part two of this. I'm gonna let you know that now.
Well, I'm open, willing, and ready.
There it is.
Yes.
So I want to wrap up. I want to wrap up, folks. Continue to like, subscribe to the Arthur Mind Show.
Yes.
Ladies, you heard it, ladies. See, you think you're by yourself, fellas. You heard it, fellas. You heard it here first from a
Mm.
modern woman, a career woman, all of that. They still out there. They still ready for you. And but you heard what she said. You heard what she said. Where y'all at? So
Mm.
we have to make ourselves known if we're in wherever we at. We gotta make ourselves known. Don't let these opportunities get by, because going on these other the platforms and we complaining about these other women out there and these other guys. Well, guess what? What have I always said? Get out the kiddie pool.
Right.
Now, I said that way back when. Way back when. You in the kiddie pool and you wonder why you're not where you want to be, because you know good and well you're not on. They're not on your level. And what I mean is where you at right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And as you see from this conversation, there's a woman right now ready for you. So when you talk about all they do is twerk, all they do is try to get you paid for a date, all they try to get you to do is buy them a bottle of liquor, all that old stuff you're talking about in the other shows. You got a modern woman right here, well established, successful modern
Buy
woman
my
right
own
here.
bottle.
Buy right, that's what get her own bottle. Okay, they're out here. They're out here. All
Yes.
right. I really thank you for doing the show. This has been a pleasure.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. And we're gonna do something, real soon. Y'all continue to like and subscribe. Put it in the comments. Let me know what you think about today's show. Let me know if you want to hear more from our special guest, Leah, and what she's talking about. Is there anything that I missed, that I left out? Let me know, okay?
All
Y'all
right.
know what I want to tell y'all. Y'all stay blessed. We'll talk soon. Man.